Hello, welcome everyone to Earth Day. My name is Karen van Godtsenhoven. I work as an associate curator at the Costume Institute at the Metropolitan Museum in New York. I'm here based in Brooklyn, and today I'm talking with my Belgian compatriot and friend Mats Rombaut, who is a passionate advocate for sustainability and also the director and founder of Rombaut, a vegan accessories label. A lot of themes that are current now with the crisis, things like animal habitats, animal cruelty, but also just the general idea of energy and no waste production are I think gaining more importance now during this pandemic, because people are looking closer up at production cycles. So in a way, your work was already dealing with a lot of themes that are now even more exposed. And in an almost uncanny way, your last campaign that you just shot before the outbreak was also about the medical community for summer 2020. Can you talk a little bit about that campaign and the shoes that you made?
Yes. So for spring summer 20, but also like throughout the history of the brand, I've always been inspired by science and scientists in particular that try to come up with solutions to make the world better and to make the environment healthy again somehow. So I was looking a lot at science and technical solutions, let's say, to make footwear less impactful. So, for example, we're always using the more innovative materials, which I can later go into, but we were using some biodegradable thermoplastic now for the heels, which, they biodegrade. So that aspect of science is something that really interested me. And then the medical part came in because I was really inspired by medical footwear as well, and like orthopedic footwear that I've been doing it also for a few seasons. So now these two came together into more of a medical setting, like a clinical environment, because also all the colors and everything inside of that collection were very clinical, like some kind of surgical green and those beige tones, like those kind of wrappings when you hurt yourself, bandages. Were all part of this collection.
Yeah, and your work has always had a sort of post-human aesthetic with sort of cyborg influences, and now it's even more current. For the people who are not so familiar with your work, could you maybe talk a little bit about your trajectory from the beginning to now, maybe using some different shoes to illustrate the different phases?
Yeah, definitely. So maybe I'll head over to the studio so I can show you a bit of those.
Wait, when did you start your brand? How old is the brand now?
The brand is now 7 years old, and we're now in the eighth year.
Great.
And we've been in the studio for 4 years. Before, I was in a small space, like 30 square meters. Everything was piled up. It was really quite a nightmare. So now we have a bigger space, and you see, like, of course, the people are not here, but this is where where we usually sit. And so your question was about showing three shoes that represent the brand, right? How it all started. So this is the first shoe that we ever did, which actually was buried here in my kitchen. So I kept this shoe buried under some earth because it's actually biodegrading. And because in the first collection that we did, it was 100% natural. Yeah, this is made out of tree bark, which is now hard to see because it's been under the earth for like 7 years. And this is crepe, they call it. It's like a natural rubber. And then we cut this shoe like this in half to show what the inside was and the linings and stuff.
You buried it because you wanted to see how it biodegrades?
Yes, indeed. But
did it?
It was buried very shallow, let's say.
Yeah.
To make it really biodegrade, it needs to be quite deep under the ground with humid conditions, some heat, and you know, in my case, it was in some dry earth, and it's just it was not really in the right conditions. But it's the only piece I have of it still here. All the rest is in Belgium right now with some of my archive, so I don't have it with me.
And did you sell?
But, so this was the first shoe.
Was it a prototype, or you sold those shoes?
Yeah, we sold those shoes in about 6 stores, and the first season it was also Rei Kawakubo from Comme des Garçons who placed an order for their Tokyo museum. Yeah, so I was very happy.
That's great.
It was really, yeah, it was. Second shoe I wanted to show is this one. It's like a salad slipper. This was pretty successful as well because it was a sort of a reaction about, on how silly sometimes the fashion industry can be, and that you have to show your brand very direct in a way. And so we thought, okay, let's put it very direct that we're a vegan brand, and just yeah.
It was an iconic Rombaut. It's sold all over the world, right?
Yes, indeed. It was in Dover Street Market, and also in all some ID concessions, and also online. So yeah, it was a limited edition that sold out. And we also did it in purple. We also had like a purple version of it, like purple cabbage.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Maybe I can also show how we actually came up with this shoe, how we did this one. First we made like a 3D rendering of it, and then like a 3D print. And so it was going to be like this with salad all over. But then to make it more realistic and more wearable, yeah, we put like this more comfortable outsole. So
and this is also in natural rubber? Sorry.
Yes, the top part is, yes. This is not, it's a EVA because it doesn't exist in natural rubber. So yeah, and then the third shoe is our heels that we just launched in September. I can show you this. It's like a mix between a sneaker and a heel. So it has a very, I don't know if you can see it, has a very stiletto heel, and it has a chunky sneaker sole, which is what we were known for, because usually we do kind of sneakers with this chunky outsole, and we also made it into
what
this
are the materials?
So this is velvet. It's it's made with cotton and PA, polyamide. So everything is vegan. And then here on the outsole is made of biodegradable TPU. And so we made our own last and our own mold to be able to inject it with what we want. Because we couldn't find any biodegradable soles on the market that we liked, so we had to make our own shapes. And,
that's impressive.
and this is just, it's a special type of mold because it needs a certain pressure to inject this material, and so the mold needs to be very strong with a different type of steel. So it's quite an investment to make it.
And you make it, they are produced in Europe, in Portugal?
Yes. Everything we do is made in Portugal. Yeah.
Great. And how do you, like when you say
Um,
that the material didn't exist, how do you develop new materials, or is there a special circuit for sustainable materials? How does it work usually?
um, Usually I do a lot of research online, because there are these kind of fairs that everyone goes to, um, which, yeah, some suppliers, they offer some vegan options right now, or just more sustainable materials. But if you really want to find the more cutting edge ones, yeah, I used to look a lot online and what people were developing. And then usually you have to wait a little bit before it is actually ready. So for example, with this tree bark, it was actually something that was used for interior design, and it wasn't really used for footwear. So I got in touch with them, and we also developed like a sort of rubber coating, which was done by hand, um, to make it a bit stronger for footwear. But yeah, then later on, I now only work with certain suppliers that I know that have already tested their material and that we know that it's strong enough, because to make a shoe, of course, the material needs to be durable as well, so the shoe lasts long enough. So yeah, now it's more via internet. So I found, for example, Piñatex there, which is made with pineapple fiber. I can show you how this is applied. So here on the shoe, you see the first layer here. This is Piñatex.
Mm-hmm.
It's a material that they harvest from in the Philippines. It's a byproduct of the pineapple industry, and they compress all these fibers together. It's like a non-woven material, and then they make a coating in Barcelona, in Spain,
Great.
before they ship it out. Yeah. And another sustainable material that we're using is called apple leather. It's a synthetic leather, and actually a lot of the content of which is normally petrol is substituted by a byproduct of the apple juice industry. So they take the dry stuff from the apples, and they extract the cellulose from it, and then they use it to replace the petrol. And for example, it really looks like leather. They
Amazing.
can make their own texture. Yeah,
Where did you find that?
they make it. This I found online as well, and now the company became bigger, so now they're also part of the normal circuit. So they are also exposing they're also showing their new developments on every fair. So yeah,
Hopefully
it's
we'll all,
made in Italy.
hopefully we'll soon all walk in leather, apple leather shoes.
Apple leather. Yeah, I hope so
Amazing.
too.
Do you have any further goals for the future with your brand in terms of sustainability, or having influence maybe on the wider industry, also especially after COVID, or after the crisis? Do you have any future goals, or to evolve with the brand?
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we actually are going to continue our path of doing more research and trying to use a more cutting edge materials, which is a bit of a challenge because usually now these materials are reserved for bigger companies that invest also into this technology. So we kind of have to fight to be able to use them. For example, mushroom leather or this kind of new developments. Yeah, they're all still not out there on the market, but this is our goal to be able to be the first ones to use them.
And
And
do you
then
have any
I want.
new projects on the, sorry, do you have any new projects on the horizon with the brand, or with another brand?
Yes, we are going to do some collaborations with two bigger brands, which I can't name yet right now. And also they have been postponed because of the crisis. but they will happen quite soon. And then I'm also working on another project, which is under, I mean, yeah, this is another project which I will be directing. It's also going to be with footwear, and it's going to be made in Portugal on a little bit bigger scale, because Rombaut is really something that is more of I don't know, more of an experimental project, more of a concept, let's say. We don't really sell so much quantities. Everything is limited editions. And with this new project, it's more based on the most sustainable way to produce, and how, you know, what happens with your product after you use it. So it's with a bigger, like a customer in mind that can wear the shoe every day. And then what happens when the shoe is worn out? So for example, we will take back the shoe, and we will recycle the sole again. So the sole stays in the circuit, and the sole is already made with recycled rubber. So everything will be like a closed loop system.
That's great. And it's a more democratic, it's a bigger, you're reaching a bigger audience than with Rombaut. With this new.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because with Rombaut, as we do such small quantities, automatically the prices are quite high. And even though we really try to make our best to, you know, to not put them too high. So with this new brand, yes, we will have more democratic prices around 150 euro, which is still, you know, quite a lot, but it's we work with the same principles.
That's great. And when is this supposed to drop?
It will be somewhere between July and September. It depends also a bit on what's happening in the next weeks and months. So
we look forward to it. Thank you so much, Mats. Maybe just a quick takeaway before we go. You have a sustainability hero that is an inspiration to you?
I would say, yeah, there are two people I really look up to. One is designer, like is Margiela, because he's also from Belgium, and also makes a lot of made a lot of work with waste in a way that he lifted up and made it into something really beautiful. So I really look up to that. And I also look up to Elon Musk in a way, because he has these big ideas, and no matter what people tell him, he's just going to go for it and make his dream a reality. So
that's a great couple. Thank you so much. Yes. And take care on the quarantine.
Thank you for.
Be safe, and I hope to see you soon in real life.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for thinking about me on Earth Day.
Yes.
For us, every day is Earth Day, but today a little bit more. So thank you very much, Karen.
Yes, and thank you everyone for being with us today. Bye-bye.